Okay, so in this section, we're going to be solving equations that involve radicals. That means equations that involve square roots, cube roots, and so on. Okay, any kind of radical where the variable is inside of the radical. Okay, the basic idea is that you need to isolate the radical. You need the radical to be all by itself. Okay, so it's just like isolating any variable. In this one, the first thing you're going to have to do is subtract the 2, and then you're going to divide by 5 so that the radical is by itself. So that's what we're going to start with. Subtract 2, leaving you with 5 radical x equals 10. Then kick out the 5 by dividing. Divide by 5. So radical x is 2. And you're not done. We don't want radical x, we want x. And we know that the opposite of the square root is the square. So what you need to do here is to get rid of the square root, do the exact opposite, which is square it. Square root of this one, square root of this one. What happens here is that the square and the square root sort of cancel each other out, leaving you with just x. And on this side, you get 2 squared, which is 4. Your answer is 4. Okay? If you check it, let's check it real quick. You'll notice that the answer is correct. 5 times radical 4. What's radical 4? 2. So 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. That's true. It should work. If you get more than one answer, plug them in and check, because you might have an extraneous solution, which is a solution that you get but doesn't actually work. All right, let's try another one, number 2. Radical 2x minus 5 equals 7. Same idea, isolate the variable first. In this one, there's nothing to do. The variable is already by itself, so there's nothing to kick out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just square. When you square both sides on this one, the radical and the square cancel, leaving you with 2x minus 5 equals 49. And then it's a simple linear equation. Solve for x by adding 7 and dividing by, adding 5 and dividing by 2. Add 5. You get 2x equals 54, divide by 2, and x equals 27. And once again, make sure you check them, especially if you have more than one answer. Okay, that is correct. Number 3, let's keep going. Radical 3x minus 23 minus 6 equals 0. Notice that the negative 6 is outside of the radical. Okay, so that is one of the things that we need to get rid of. Isolate the radical by kicking out the 6 first. We're going to add 6. So we have radical 3x minus 23 equals 6. And now that the radical is isolated, square both sides, leaving you with 3x minus 23 equals 36. And now it's a simple two-step equation. Add 23, divide by 3. Add 23, leaving you with 3x equals 59. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Divide by 3. Please tell me I didn't mess up. We're good, right? Yeah, that's correct. 3 does not go into 59, so I'm going to leave it as a fraction. Okay, number 4. Let's do some more. Space here. Number 4 says radical 3x minus 2 minus 7 equals 0. Once again, that 7 is not inside of the radical, so I need to kick it out first so that the radical can be isolated. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is add 7. So I have radical 3x minus 2 equals 7. Now that the radical is isolated, I square both sides. So I have 3x minus 2 equals 49. Add 2 to both sides. 3x equals 51. And finally, divide by 3 to have your final answer. 3 goes into 51 exactly 17 times. All right, let's keep going. This side. Number 5. The cube root of 2x plus 1 equals 3. A little bit different from the last 4. Okay, this is not a square root, it's a cube root. The main difference is that instead of squaring, you're going to have to cube it. Okay, because the index is 3, so you're going to have to raise it to the third power. Once again, always check that it's isolated. The radical has to be isolated. It is here, so I can just go ahead and raise it to the third power. The cube root and the third power cancel each other out, leaving you with 2x plus 1 equals 9. Yes, Kevin? Thank you. That would have been incorrect. 3 to the third power is not 9, is 27. Subtract 1, and 2x equals 26. Divide by 2, x equals 13. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. We have 7 more. Erase all of these. Number 6. The cube root of 13x minus 1 minus 4 equals 0. So same idea. First thing I'm going to do is get rid of the 4. Remember that you need to isolate the radical. It's not isolated yet. It's add 4 to both sides. So that means that 13x minus 1, the cube root of 13x minus 1 equals 4. In order to get rid of the cube root, I'm going to cube it. Our multiplier times itself 3 times. This cube and this cube root cancel, leaving you with 13x minus 1. 4 times 4 times 4 is not 16. Let's not make the same mistake. It's going to be 64. Add 1 to both sides. 13x equals 65. And finally divide by 13. 13 does go into 65 exactly 5 times. Okay, keep going. 7. Space here. 7 says x minus 2 to the 1/3 power. You have options here. You can turn it into a radical, like these, okay? Or you can solve it from here. You can actually just solve this from here by raising it to another power, okay? What you want to do in these is raise both sides to a power that is going to give you 1, okay? What can I multiply 1/3 times to make 1? 3 over 1, right? The reciprocal of 1/3. If I multiply 1/3 times its reciprocal, that gives me 3 over 3, which is 1. That's what you want. You want to multiply, you want to raise it to the power that is the reciprocal of that original power, okay? So I'm going to raise it to the 3 over 1 power, which is just 3. You don't have to write 3 over 1 power. What happens there is that 1/3 times 3 becomes 1, so what you have is x minus 2 to the 1 power, which you don't actually have to write. 5 to the 3rd power is 125. Add 2 to both sides, and what is x? 127. All right, let's keep going. Number 8. 2x to the 1/3 power minus 2 equals 0. Same idea. You want to isolate the variable with its power. Okay, so if I want to isolate x to the 1/3, what should I do first? Plus 2. Thank you. Add 2, so 2x to the 1/3 power equals 2. Still not isolated. I want the x to the 1/3 to be isolated. What should I do next? Divide by 2. X to the 1/3 power equals 1. And now I can solve it. Same ideas here. If I want to get rid of that power, I need to raise it to the power that is going to give me 1. What is the reciprocal of 1/3? 3. So raise both sides to the 3rd power. 1/3 times 3 is 1, so I get x to the 1 power, which you don't have to write it, equals 1 to the 3rd power, which is simply just 1. All right, let's keep going. Number 9. Number 9 says 2x plus 1 to the 1/3 power equals -3. Same idea. I have a rational exponent, but I can easily solve it by raising it to some power that is going to give me 1. What is going to give me 1? What do I need to raise them to? 3. Raise them both to the 3rd power, because 1/3 times 3 gives you 1. So on the left side, I will have 2x plus 1 to the 1 power, which you don't need to write. On the right side, you have -3 times -3 times -3, which is -27. And now it's a simple 2-step equation. Again, subtract 1, 2x equals -28. Divide by 2, and x equals -. And it's okay to get a negative answer, especially since the index is an odd number, right? It's okay to have negatives inside of that, right? Number 10. Number 10 says 7x to the -3 power, no, 7x minus 3 to the positive 1/2 power equals 5. The idea is the same. Isolate. Instead of isolating the radical, we're isolating this rational power, right? This rational exponent. But I'm going to raise both of these to the same power because it's ready. What power must I raise them to? To the 2nd power, right? 1/2 times 2 over 1 cancels, gives you 1. So this and this turn into 1, so you have 7x minus 3. 5 squared is 25. Add 3 to both sides. 7x equals 28. Divide by 7, and x equals. Simple. Are they getting easier and easier and easier as we move along? Number 11. 2 more. 11 and 12, and that's it. Number 11. 4x to the 1/2 power minus 5 equals 27. This one, you need to isolate this little piece first. It is not ready until you kick out the 5 and kick out the 4. First, get rid of the 5. How do I get rid of the 5? Just add 5. Thank you. If I add 5, I get 4x to the 1/2 power equals 32. Now get rid of the 4. How do I get rid of the 4? Divide it. That means x to the 1/2 equals 8. And now, to get rid of that 1/2 power, you must raise it to another power that is going to give you 1. What is the power that I need to raise it to? The 2nd power. Because 1/2 times 2 is 1. That leaves you with x equals 16. Done. Last one, number 12. 2x plus 1. The quantity raised to the 1/3 power. Same idea. It's actually much easier than the last one. I don't need to isolate it. It's already isolated for me. Just go ahead and raise both sides to the same power. What is that power? Third. 1/3 times 3 is 1. So 2x plus 1, because that becomes 1, equals 1. And now it's a simple 2-step equation. Subtract 1, divide by 2, you're done. Subtract 1, you get 0. Divide by 2, and you get x equals 0. And cut.